Let's now present 5 striking videos from the past 24 hours that vividly depict the turmoil engulfing Israel and Gaza. Jews, Muslims, and Christians constantly dispute over the ownership of Jerusalem. When examining their histories, it becomes clear that all three have a strong claim to the Holy Land, as Jerusalem is a central pillar of faith for each of these religions. Recently, the Jews have pressed the gas on building the Third Temple, which according to some will usher in the end time. The big question is, will the Muslim community allow the rebuilding of Solomon's Temple right where the Dome of the Rock is? What steps are being taken currently, and what is the update as of today? Let's find out. In terms of size, Israel isn't a very big nation. This is probably why people often wonder how they've been able to survive the attacks constantly hurled at them. To put the size of Israel into perspective, Israel is about the size of New Jersey, just one state in the United States. Israel is located on the eastern shores of the Mediterranean and is bordered by Lebanon, Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. The main source of information concerning Israel comes from the Hebrew Bible. In the Hebrew Bible, we can trace the origins of Israel all the way back to Father Abraham. Abraham holds the esteemed title of being the patriarch for both Judaism and Islam. He fathered Isaac, establishing the Jewish faith, and Ishmael, forming the Islamic faith. The Jews faced enslavement in Egypt as a consequence of disobedience to God. Moses emerged as their leader, guiding them out of Egypt, and eventually, they found a homeland in Canaan, present-day Israel. When the Israelites finally made their home in Israel, they believed it was time for them to have a king. They asked God for a king, and God gave them their first king ever, who was called Saul. Saul was the king of Israel around 10,000 BCE. Saul failed to be a good king, and his replacement came in the person of David. During his rule, David proclaimed Jerusalem the capital of Israel, and that singular decision has made Jerusalem the controversial region it is today. Following King David's passing, his son Solomon assumed the throne, overseeing the construction of the inaugural temple as instructed by God. The temple built by Solomon was built 3 miles from the Temple Mount. Post-Solomon, Israel underwent a division, transitioning from a united kingdom to 2 separate regions, the south, recognized as Israel, and the north, known as Judah. Despite initial stability, the Assyrians invaded northern Israel in 722 BCE, initiating the dispersion of the Jews. Subsequently, in 568 BCE, Babylonians conquered the kingdom of Judah, resulting in the destruction of Solomon's temple and the commencement of the Babylonian exile for the children of Israel. A moment of relief came for the Israelis with the fall of Babylon to the Persians, marked by the significant decree permitting the Israelites to return and construct their temple. The Second Temple took shape in Jerusalem. By the 1st century CE, Christianity surfaced in Israel with the appearance of Jesus. However, during the Jewish-Roman War, the Romans, the prevailing world power, destroyed the Second Temple. There is no doubt that the nation of Israel has gone through so much, from their temples being constantly destroyed to the Holocaust. Despite all this, the nation of Israel has emerged as one of the world's superpowers. Given a land that was 80% desert, they've turned it into a fertile land that accounts for one of the most significant exports of fruits in the world. Israel today has a thriving economy, a tech industry, and a powerful army. Now that they've settled, Israel has again set its sights on Jerusalem, preparing to build their Third Temple. Some argue that the Third Temple symbolizes modern-day Christians, but many disagree. Israel disagrees even more. So why is Jerusalem so important to Jews, Muslims, and Christians? We will tell you. Why is Jerusalem important to the 3 major religions? Jews see Jerusalem as a beacon of their faith. There is no Judaism without Jerusalem, and there is no Jerusalem without Judaism. For Jews, Jerusalem is the city of God. They believe that Jerusalem is where Elohim lives. Jerusalem holds a unique and unparalleled status in Israel. It stands alone, unparalleled by any other city in the region. For Jews residing outside of Jerusalem, their prayers are directed towards this sacred city, much like how Muslims face Mecca in their prayers. A biblical command from God dictates that the first fruit of the yearly harvest should be consumed in Jerusalem. Preceding the destruction of the Second Temple, Jerusalem adhered to distinctive laws concerning the 4 species during Sukkot and the sounding of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. More than just a holy city, Jerusalem embodies the historical struggle of the Jewish people. The challenges faced by King David resonate deeply with most Jews, who also share his aspiration to construct the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. In the Hebrew Bible, the word Jerusalem can be seen 669 times. The Jews hold their Tanakh in very high esteem, so finding the word Jerusalem in their Tanakh makes them know that Jerusalem is pivotal to their faith. The Tanakh is considered the written law, the basis for the oral law. The oral laws are the Talmud, Mishnah, and Shulchan Aruch. Let's move to the Muslims. Why is the ancient city of Jerusalem vital to them? Islam places significant importance on Jerusalem in its faith. In Sunni Islam, Jerusalem stands as the 3rd holiest city, following Mecca and Medina. Muslims concur that Muhammad experienced a supernatural journey to Jerusalem, known as the Night Journey. During this journey, Muhammad was transported by Burak, a donkey-like creature from the Great Mosque of Mecca to Al-Aqsa, the mosque situated on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Muhammad prayed at Al-Aqsa before ascending to heaven on this celestial steed. According to Islamic belief, this event transpired in the year 621. Even though Jerusalem isn't mentioned in the Quran, it is mentioned in the texts that came after the Quran. Nevertheless, subsequent texts following the Quran mention Jerusalem as the site of Prophet Muhammad's night journey. Zayd ibn Tabith, a highly respected teacher of the Islamic faith, recounts the Prophet's words, stating, "How blessed is Al-Sham." When the companions inquired why, the Prophet responded, "I see the angels of Allah spread their wings over Al-Sham." Ibn Abbas further emphasized, "And the prophets lived in it. There is not a single inch in Al-Quds, Jerusalem, where a prophet has not prayed or an angel has not stood." Islam also considers Jerusalem necessary because it was once the place where the Muslim faithful face when they pray. Accounts hold that Prophet Muhammad held prayers facing the holy city till the 17th century. Upon his migration from Mecca to Medina, Allah directed him to pray now facing Mecca instead. Finally, let us discuss why Jerusalem is also important for Christians. The primary reason why Jerusalem is important to Christians is because of Jesus Christ. Jesus was brought to the city of Jerusalem and dedicated in the temple. In the Gospels, there are accounts of Jesus performing healing miracles in Jerusalem. The iconic incident of Jesus driving out traitors from the temple also unfolded in this city. Additionally, Jerusalem held significant events like the Last Supper, Jesus' trial, and crucifixion. These events underline Jerusalem's profound importance in Christianity's history. Today, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is believed to stand at the very site of Jesus' crucifixion and tomb. Furthermore, Jerusalem's importance in Judaism is rooted in God's relationship with the Israelites, marked by the Old Covenant. This covenant foreshadowed the new covenant brought by Jesus. Historically, medieval Christians considered Jerusalem as the world's focal point, emphasizing its significance in Byzantine hymns that hymnize the cross of Jesus Christ planted at the earth's center. The significance of Jerusalem to these 3 major religions has caused the area to be a hot zone. The Jews wanted to build the 3rd temple on the Temple Mount. The Muslims aren't having that because, well, their mosque is currently standing at the site where the Jews want to use it. Christians, on the other hand, tie the rebuilding of the 3rd temple to the second coming of Jesus, which will signal the end of the ages. Why has the 3rd temple not been built yet? Israel is putting in much effort to build the 3rd temple, yet it hasn't even been started. This is because there are a myriad of challenges facing the rebuilding of the temple. After the Second Temple's destruction, the Temple Mount has become home for people of all faiths and walks of life. This situation makes it difficult for Israel to take over the Temple Mount. Attempting to take the Mount may cause the displacement of many people from their homes. Also, there are archaeological sites surrounding the place where the 3rd temple will be built. Destroying these important archaeological sites to rebuild the temple may cause a rift. While destroying archaeological sites may seem challenging, there is an even greater challenge: the tussle of ownership. A significant hurdle in reconstructing the Third Temple is the ongoing dispute over ownership between Muslims and Jews. Jews assert their birthright and divine covenant with God, firmly believing the site belongs to them. Conversely, Muslims vehemently disagree, particularly because the Dome of the Rock stands on the precise location designated for the Third Temple. This disagreement has led to conflicts and violence, resulting in loss of life and property. According to Islamic belief, the Dome of the Rock marks the spot where Muhammad ascended into heaven. On the contrary, Jews maintain that beneath the Dome of the Rock lies the sacred site of the temple's holiest of holies. To realize the construction of the Third Temple, the Dome of the Rock would need to be demolished. Among the Jewish community, differing perspectives exist regarding the construction of the Third Temple. Some believe its building should await the return of the Messiah, who will decide the fate of the Dome of the Rock. On the contrary, others like Baruch ben Yosef, chairman of the movement to restore the temple, emphasize building the Third Temple precisely at the Dome of the Rock's location. Ben Yosef states firmly that anybody who says anything else does not know what he is talking about. He emphasizes that according to the law specifying the temple's location, a prophet cannot alter it, and all that is required is a Sanhedrin to rebuild the temple. The situation concerning the rebuilding of the temple has intensified due to prolonged restrictions barring Jews from praying or visiting the Temple Mount. Muslims have long contended that no Jewish temple ever existed on the site. However, British archaeologist Robert Hamilton challenged this belief, revealing a Jewish ritual cleansing site beneath the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This discovery was prompted by an earthquake in 1927, causing damage to a section of the mosque. Among the findings was a mikveh, a significant baptismal pool used by Jewish worshippers for purification before entering the temple. The presence of the mikveh contradicts the Muslim claim that no Jewish temple previously stood at the location, emphasizing its importance in Jewish worship and temple construction. Ancient prophecies concerning the rebuilding of the Third Temple, people who study the Bible believe that rebuilding the Third Temple perfectly aligns with prophecy. The motivation to proceed with rebuilding the temple, despite looming threats, stems from the belief that fulfilling this project aligns with prophecy. Supporting this view is Amos 9:11, stating, "In that day I will restore David's fallen shelter. I will repair its broken walls and restore its ruins, and will rebuild it as it used to be." Bible scholars contend that this passage refers to reconstructing the Third Temple following the devastation of the second one, reinforcing the conviction that the current rebuilding efforts fulfill this ancient prophecy. Daniel's prophecy underlines the significance of the Third Temple's construction in heralding the return of the Messiah. In Daniel's vision, an angel foretells the Messiah's return and the subsequent destruction and rebuilding of the city and the temple. The prophecy also outlines a timeline for the temple's reconstruction, involving a decree, Jerusalem's restoration, and the temple's rebuilding. As of now, the fulfillment of Daniel's vision seems to align with the decree that led to Israel's return as a nation and Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. According to Daniel's prophecy, the Antichrist will emerge once the Third Temple is completed, masquerading as the Messiah and striking a covenant with the Israelites, initiating a period of false peace before the onset of the tribulation. Are the Jews taking any measures to rebuild the Third Temple? Despite resistance from the Arab world, the Jews aren't relenting on their quest to build a Third Temple to God. The Sanhedrin has taken steps to begin rebuilding the temple, especially after they realized that mikvahs were once used on the proposed site. Established in 2004, the Jewish Religious Council was formed to uphold the Jewish laws concerning the reconstruction of the temple. Building a temple to God, as outlined in the Old Testament, is a significant undertaking with specific regulations and procedures. The Jewish Religious Council is tasked with following these precise steps to construct the temple successfully. One notable step taken by the council involves the careful cultivation of new farms and forests, meticulously monitored to recreate the environmental conditions akin to ancient times. This initiative aligns with the prescribed measures to ensure adherence to the authentic processes laid out in religious texts. Another crucial step taken by the Sanhedrin in preparation for the restoration of the Third Temple involves making arrangements for the red heifer. The red heifer plays a vital role in purifying the temple before commencing the rebuilding process. However, even rabbis find themselves perplexed regarding how the ashes of a red heifer can be employed for cleansing from sin and defilement. Interestingly, engaging in the preparation for the red heifer renders individuals unclean until evening. The enigma surrounding the red heifer is one of the most confounding aspects of the Torah, even for highly knowledgeable rabbis. Due to its perplexity, rabbis categorize the red heifer ordinance under chukim, divine decrees that surpass our limited human comprehension. Certain Jewish sages strive to decipher the enigma of the red heifer by linking it to the transgression involving the golden calf. According to this interpretation, the red heifer serves as atonement for the grave sin committed by the Israelites, underscoring its crucial role in the Third Temple's restoration. However, a significant obstacle arises. The red heifer is now an extinct species. Fortunately, the Sanhedrins are proactively addressing this issue by exploring genetic engineering with red Angus cattle to create a red heifer. Recently, approximately 5 red heifers were brought to Israel, deliberately left untagged by farmers to maintain their unblemished status. These red heifers are currently being held in an undisclosed location, awaiting the time when they will be utilized. At present, these transported red heifers are 1.5 years old and will be suitable for use upon reaching 3 years of age. The red heifer sacrifice is slated to occur at the Mount of Olives, precisely at a vantage point offering a direct view of the temple's original location. Jewish rabbis anticipate this ceremony to unfold in 2024, coinciding with the Passover, assuming the red heifer is ready by then. Despite the meticulous preparations for the Third Temple's reconstruction, a significant hurdle lies in the lack of political consensus. The dispute continues, with Arab claims asserting ownership of the Temple Mount, potentially hindering the realization of rebuilding the Third Temple in the foreseeable future. Right now, there is also meticulous training of the Kohanim, who are members of the priestly class in Jerusalem and descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother. The Kohanim play a vital role in executing the priestly duties essential for the functioning of the temple. Currently, all the requisite vessels for performing services in the Third Temple are fully prepared, including the high priest's breastplate adorned with the 12 precious stones representing the tribes of Israel, the half-ton golden menorah, and the musical instruments used by the Levitical choir. Visitors to the Old City can witness these remarkable vessels on display and engage with informative animated presentations illustrating their historical use. The training of the Kohanim is being done by the Temple Institute. The Institute has conducted numerous pilot programs in recent years and is now initiating an effort to instruct Kohanim in all the practical skills necessary for serving in the Third Holy Temple. This was stated in an official release. To support this project, the Institute has launched a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, aiming to raise a minimum of $75,000. The aim of the Institute is to one day replace the Dome of the Rock with the Third Temple, although they aim to do this peacefully. Observant Jews pray for the temple to be built in every daily prayer service, with some awaiting the appearance of the Messiah and others believing that they must act to bring the Messiah closer. If the Christian Bible is true, the rebuilding of the Third Temple is imminent and will usher in the coming of the Messiah. The question now is if the Jews will go through with it, considering the numerous challenges. Do you think the Third Temple will be built? We would love to read your thoughts in the comments section. Also, drop a like and follow our channel.